What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity. Happy Tuesday. I don't know about y'all, but today was my day off from work for the week. I'm normally off on Sundays and Mondays, but I had to take care of something today, so I worked yesterday. So it felt good because I live on the East Coast when I saw the snow falling this morning, and I didn't have to take that 45-minute to an hour commute to work. So hopefully those of you who live in the tri-state area were good and safe. It wasn't a lot of snow at all. It stopped early as well. I got to rest and catch up on some shows, and that's bomb. I wanted to come on to talk about the Grammys. I figured everybody would be on probably from yesterday, meaning Monday, talking about their perspectives and all of that. But I said, let me wait. Let me continue to catch my thoughts. Let me watch the Wendy Williams, The Real, the Breakfast Clubs. Let me listen to a lot of people who I respect in the entertainment business perspective and, hear different sides and viewpoints before I came to my own opinion. And even though it was exciting to see that there were a lot of people of color represented as nominees this year, I had my disappointments, I'm happy for Kendrick Lamar. I'm happy for Bruno Mars. They brought it home with majority of the awards. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel as if Hove, Jay-Z, I refer to him as Hove, that he wasn't snubbed. He had the most nominations in all categories, and I felt like that was kind of jacked up that the man did get an award. Yes, they honored him at Clive Davis's pre-Grammy award dinner the night prior, but I feel like the 444 album should have been an album that was celebrated because it is different from what we're used to from Jay-Z. It did answer a lot of questions that we as the public had regarding the pink elephant in the room with him being unfaithful to his wife, Beyonce. It did show a side of vulnerability. I've said this before on the website. I've been following Jay-Z's career and been a fan of his. He's my favorite rapper since the 90s when I was in junior high school. I'm 34 years old, gonna be 35 this year, Lord willing. And so that says a lot. I think I kind of know a little something about, his body of work, and I see a lot of growth, and I saw tremendous growth with this album because he actually exercised the ability of being vulnerable. I always say it takes strength of character to be vulnerable. It takes a strong person to show themselves in a light that is vulnerable, for lack of a better word, and I think that should have been celebrated. Had this 444 album been about a bunch of ratchetness or, been about the normal stuff that we're used to Hove talking about in his music, that probably would have been celebrated more. And it's funny, I was watching Daily Pop. I'm actually kind of starting to like this show. It's on the DVR list now. That's on the E channel, the E News channel. No, the E channel. It's a part of the E News family, and they do have at least 2 people of color on there, which I like to see people that look like me, sitting at these round tables. And Justin, who's one of the hosts, he made an interesting point where he said, maybe the Grammy board wasn't happy. Maybe America's not that happy because America's sweetheart, who's Beyonce, was the one who was cheated on and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe that was their way of kind of getting back at Jay-Z. That's one theory. I don't know if I buy into that. What I buy into more so is this. Hove has been one who hasn't always attended the Grammys. He really doesn't attend the Grammys. He lately has spoken out about a lot of things. His major interview the other day during Grammy weekend, he made a lot of statements regarding Trump, which I completely agree with for the most part. And, just him speaking out on certain things and highlighting that we as people of color, Black people particularly, should start having more of a business mind instead of, as he said, holding up the money phones. That's that them racks of money that you see the Migos and a whole bunch of other millennial rappers, using it as phones, taking pictures. They're always, kind of showcasing what they got and all this money and bands and all that kind of stuff. we need to be more mature in our thinking and think more business minded, meaning, you know, let's start buying the neighborhoods, right? Like a lot of the Jews do in various neighborhoods throughout at least New York, where I live, right? You know, let's start investing our money in things that will appreciate with value. He uses art as an example. You know, let's start getting out of that mentality of hood rich and getting more into the wealthy mentality and how to flip your money and make more money for you, make it work for you, and better your community at the same time. This is a man who done sold drugs, who did things in the past that probably helped to deteriorate his community or other communities around him to make a dollar. And it's cool to see that he has progressed to the point where it's like, nah, let's not even be about that. You know, I did that because I felt like I had to do that at that time. It wasn't right. This is what I'm trying to help y'all to understand, you know, and just being able to express his feelings as a man. I've seen quite a few interviews, or the few interviews that he's done, I pretty much have seen all of them, where he's talking about how as a man he was never taught to be vulnerable, to express how he feels, to tap into that. You know, you're taught to kind of have a lot of women, you know, to not say much when it comes to what you really think and feel inside, and, you know, a different type of school of thought he was given from the OGs, you know, around the way, right? As we know, his father wasn't in his life like that when he was growing up. And so because the 444 album to me represents all of those things, it would have been so dope to see him at least get one Grammy for it, you know, so that the millennials and younger folks out here coming up on the outside watching as fans, and the people who are coming up within the music industry themselves could see that this is the trajectory you want for your career. It's okay to have a positive message to spread out there, to enlighten people and to help people along the way, you know, but whatever. I think it was more of a political reason as far as why he got snubbed. You know, gave the man 8 nominations, but he didn't win 1 award. And I'm not taking anything away from Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick Lamar is dope. I've been following Kendrick Lamar for pretty much around his last mixtape, around there, right before he dropped his major album, mainstream album, so to speak. And I personally wasn't that into this last album Kendrick put out, which is entitled Damn. You know, you had the song with Rihanna, Tell Me Who You're Loyal To, you know, that was cool, you know, it grew on me. You know, you had the Be Humble, that's different, that grew on me. But as a body of work, I feel like his first mainstream album was way better than Damn. And my favorite of his albums is actually To Pimp a Butterfly, because that's the album I felt like he had something to say, something of substance to say from the start of the album to the finale of the album, to the end, right? And my thinking is, why didn't he get, maybe he did get a lot of Grammys. I'd have to go back and double check my research for the To Pimp a Butterfly album, but I feel like he cleaned up more with the Damn album. And if my instinct or my thought and feeling is correct that he got more nominations and more awards won for the Damn album over the To Pimp a Butterfly album, that's whack to me. And it just continues to show me that the music industry and just society and just the entertainment business ain't about ish, right? They ain't about nothing that's positive for us to propel the culture forward. You know, we'll applaud messages that may not push the envelope. What I respect is his opening. He opened the Grammys, and he had a powerful performance. Even from the To Pimp a Butterfly album, Kendrick has had some powerful, well thought out, conceptual, pushing the envelope, saying what he needs to say, standing up strong for the black folk out there, performances, and I appreciate that. I feel like the Damn album was probably his most commercial of albums, which is probably why he got a lot of those nominations, but I don't think it was his strongest body of work, and I don't think that he should have won out in certain categories against Hove. Just my opinion. Other music heads or Kendrick Lamar fans may feel differently, and you're entitled to your opinion, as I am to mine, you know. And Bruno Mars, let's not get it twisted. He had a great album. That 24 Karat Magic was amazing, very nostalgic to the 90s, which is my era of music. I'm an 83 baby, born in 83, but a lot of my growing up as far as being cognizant of music and old enough to understand and hear things was during the 90s. And so yes, it was very Bobby Brown-esque and that era that a lot of us 30-somethings and above loved, right? However, I don't know that I feel he should have gotten Album of the Year. You know, he got most of the Grammys for that night. And yes, you know, he had an amazing body of work, but I don't know that it should have got Album of the Year. That's just me. And we know he's commercial. I get it. The Grammys is all about how many downloads and streams, units sold, you know what I'm saying? How much money was brought in. We heard Bruno Mars' album on everything, probably every station. It didn't matter if it was top 40, if it was urban radio, whatever. He was being played. I get it. But I don't know if he should have gotten all. Or at least, I don't know if he should have gotten Best Album. But that's just me. Anyway, kudos to him and Kendrick for winning. And all the other nominees that actually walked away with the Grammy Award. That is a huge achievement, a huge accomplishment in the music world. You know, and for me, it just reminds me, you know, don't sell out. As I've been saying a lot lately, do not sell out. You know, I understand that my message and what I'm building and what my whole complex simplicity movement is about is not probably always going to be that attractive to the masses because nobody really wants to hear about the positive stuff and be introspective and all of that. I do know that there's an audience that I can and do cater to that will respect and appreciate, you know, what I bring. But I do know as far as the masses, you know, if I was talking about a whole bunch of ratchet shit, sorry. Sorry for the language. If I was talking about a whole bunch of ratchet-ish, or if I was talking a whole bunch of sexual stuff and that kind of stuff, or if I'm like the type of blogger, vlogger that trashes celebrities and goes in on people, you know, reports gossip, I probably would have way more followers, way more views to the website, right? But I'm sticking my course and my path because I truly do feel that this is needed. There is room for this and this is needed. I also recognize the reality that it may not gain popularity or a huge following or I may not ever have a huge platform. You know, I'm a realist, right? I'm hip to the game. I recognize that we as humans gravitate towards negativity more than we do positivity, but I'm still going to stick to the course and do what I do and, you know, try to make us think about a few things and, you know, ask the questions nobody wants to ask, right? When it comes to ourselves, not when it comes to interviewing other people and when it comes to other people all the time. I'm going to ask the difficult and uncomfortable questions that most of us should be asking ourselves that we don't, you know, because that, I feel like, is what could also propel the culture. And when I say culture, meaning, you know, the blog and vlog world, I guess, is considered some level of entertainment when you're putting out your opinions and perspective and making it accessible to the world in cyberland, so to speak, you know. So it is a form of entertainment, but if I can actually, you know, hold people for 15 to 35 minutes and give my perspective and make us kind of question ourselves and the growth that we need to achieve within us, then job well done for me. Then my agenda has been done. But you know, I'm a music lover and I wanted to give my perspective on the Grammys. Shout out to my friend Marquita. She was actually on the Grammys, a part of the choir. I don't want to mess up their name. I know it's the Harlem Choir, where they backed up Sam Smith, and I thought that was so dope. And I love it when my friends or people within my world are able to experience like dope things that most of us wouldn't really get to be a part of in life. It's a constant reminder that, you know, it can happen to you. You never know. I could only imagine what that experience was, to be able to be on the stage and see the very stars and music artists and celebrities that she probably grew up loving to listen to and respecting, them being an arm's length distance away while you're on the stage backing Sam Smith. Like, that's dope. And to be selected to be a part of that kind of a scenario situation is dope in and of itself. Shout outs to you, Keita. Keep working hard, grinding, that should be enough motivation for you to be like, listen, because she's also an actress, you know, she sings, acts, dances, does a whole bunch of amazing things. That should be enough inspiration for you to know that one day that could be you on that Grammy stage if that's what you want, you know? And so I love when I know people that are able to experience such cool and bomb things, you know, keeping in mind that celebrities are regular people, right? Regular people that had a dream, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of what I've also been putting up on my social media for the website, once again, it's at Complex Simplicity09 for Instagram and Complex Simplicity for Facebook. A lot of positive thoughts about us just believing in ourselves and understanding that that's where having confidence and healthy self-esteem comes into play the most, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you, you know, probably to even want to put your art or put yourself out there to be judged, so to speak, by the world, and to be, you know, able to take more steps towards knocking down them doors and going out here and getting it and making your dreams come true, you know. And so having that kind of experience, I could only imagine how it's almost like you can taste it, like it's right there. This can happen, you know. These are regular people like you and I. Nothing that special about them. We all have different talents and are talented in different areas, but they're regular people who went for it, you know what I'm saying, and worked hard. And I'll keep it real, might have done other things to solidify that job, but for those of us who are not about that life and who have some morals and values out here, let's just work hard, grind, try to stay in tune with God regarding what our purpose is, and go out here and get it, you know. But yes, so I wanted to shout her out. So the Grammys, oh, how can I not shout out Cardi B? Not that I know her, but she's that kind of personality where I feel like I know her. The crazy thing is she's from the Bronx. I'm born in the Bronx, raised in Mount Vernon, but lived a lot of my adult life in the Bronx. And I work in the Bronx and have worked and been around the neighborhood that she comes from. And just to see, like I said, I've been up on Cardi B since she just kind of was on Instagram and was still dancing in the clubs. And I was like, yo, who is this girl? I feel like I learned about her because somebody I went to junior high school and high school with used to work at Sue's Rendezvous, which is a strip joint that used to be in Mount Vernon. And because we were connected on social media, he would have pictures of her because she used to strip in Sue's Rendezvous. And she just seemed like her personality was so dope. So I then went to her Instagram page through him. And that's how I learned about Cardi B. And this had to have been about 3 years ago. Yep, because this is when I was still living in the Bronx, just had gotten married. I've been married for over 3 years now. This was about three and a half years ago. And I was like, yo, her personality is so, like, she's so off the hook funny and, you know, says all the things people are thinking, but says it in a way that's like, yo, but it's still funny. It's like shocking, ratchet a little bit, but funny. And from that point on, I followed her. And, you know, I remember watching videos when she's going all around the clubs, you know, on the East Coast. And then it was spreading on to her going to the West Coast. And then I started seeing her hosting clubs, gigs in like certain islands, and then she ended up getting on Love and Hip Hop. And I remember hearing her music, and I remember her saying people were always clowning her and not taking her seriously, and look where the girl is now. So to see her on the Grammy stage, I think she was nominated for about 2 Grammys herself. Even though she didn't win, she's a new artist, and for her to even be nominated is crazy. And then from that point, for her to be able to be performing with Bruno Mars, with the Finesse single remix, was so dope. And just, like, that was just a great moment, I think, for the culture, for the music industry, for the R&B, for the hip-hop world culture, to see that this young lady who was relatable and who was normal and a regular human like the rest of us worked hard, grinded, and figured it out. And when she was on the red carpet for the Grammys, I think Juliana Rancic, who used to work for E!, had asked her, you know, what would be your advice to other young people out there who want to make it in this industry? And she was just like, you have to figure it out. I had to figure it out. You have to figure it out. That's all you have to do is figure it out. So on one end, I'm like, she's probably like, I ain't gonna put you out completely on, to the game, because then, I'm trying to enjoy my seat, so to speak. I'm just now opening doors and being allowed in these rooms. Let me not give all the tea. But in the same vein, I got what she was saying. We all have something special about us that we have to tap into. For those who do want to make it in the entertainment world, I definitely feel once you have tapped into what it is that makes you you and you special, once you are clear on who you are and you're authentic to that and you live in your truth, all the things I always talk about on the site, and you love who you are ultimately, then that makes it that much easier. The girl was on Instagram just talking her ish about normal day-to-day life things, and the world fell in love with her. And the world fell in love with her because she was being herself, right? And she has that natural star power, that star quality. She is that girl next door, who's beautiful and, got the body stuff going on. But aside from all of that, I think it's her personality that's what people have fallen in love with. And if you don't get anything else from her journey, if you don't respect what she does, that's fine. But just know that being yourself will get you farther than you think, even in the entertainment world, okay? She's not the best MC out here, but that she'll get better in time with that. I already see the growth in that area. But it's her star power and quality that had Atlantic Records talking about, we want to sign you for a multi-whatever-million-dollar deal. It's her star quality that got Mona Scott from Love and Hip Hop saying, let's take a meeting with her people and her team. I want her to be a part of this show. It was her star quality that was able to get her in a position to leave the strip club, leave dancing, and build and do what she's been doing. And so let's stop thinking that these celebrities have this like better thing than we do, or something that crazy and special about them. That's why they made it. I feel like, yes, they're uber talented. We all are, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has talent. You just have to tap into what yours is and know what it is, and get better at it, right? Keep your skills going. But it's also, I think, really recognizing what makes you different, and how whatever you have about yourself can impact the world. And let's keep it real, in the entertainment industry, it's about the dollars and cents. It's about how much money can you make for us, kind of thing, right? It's about, especially with the whole social media situation, how much influence can you have? Are young girls gonna wanna look up to you as they do a Cardi B, right? Are guys gonna be attracted to you and want to sleep with you as they probably would a Cardi B? So I know they used to always say that, you know when you're like on point, when it's to the point where the young ones want to be like you. If you're a woman, the young girls want to grow up and be like you. They want to emulate you, and the guys want to sleep with you. And for those who are part of the LGBT community, regardless of what they're who they're attracted to, they're still, if there's something about you that is infectious, you will win the world over. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, we tend to think that it's this crazy formula, and it's like we have to be like chemists in the lab cooking up this like crazy potion, so to speak, or it's like we're architects and it's like this insane blueprint of a map to get us from point A to where our dreams are, when that's really not always the case. It's really recognizing what you bring to the table. Even as a blogger, I read up on a lot of different things, and sometimes I'll listen to video clips and different information from other vloggers who have been able to create a pretty good platform for themselves. And everybody says the same thing, which is why I refuse to pay for someone to teach me how to make my blog get bigger and better, right? Because I feel like a lot of it is common sense, and I feel that it all comes in time. Very few people in the blogging world are overnight successes. They've been grinding for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, right? 3 years. I'm only almost 2 years into this, right? And I think that I'm amazed at how I'm able to keep an audience. A lot of you, I may not know all of who you are, or maybe I do know who you are, but I will never know that you're checking for me like that. But a lot of y'all keep coming back because my views are still very high, and continue to grow. And I'm thankful, humbled by it, so thankful to you for it, hoping that I am helping someone out there. But it's not always about, sprinting. It's a lot of times slow and steady wins the race. And so I refuse to pay $40 a month and all these, fees for bloggers who have found some level of success to tell me, you have to know your niche, you have to know your audience, what's different about you. To me, those kinds of things are common sense. And I'm kind of glad that with me starting this, having no knowledge about the vlogging world like that, I've kind of been able to figure certain things out on my own this past almost 2 years. And like I said, I definitely recognize that it is a slow and steady wins the race situation. And that's why I'm dropping an EP, and I have another project that I'm working on, which hopefully will follow shortly after the EP, so that there are actual products that tie into my brand and maybe make more sense for the viewers, for you, for other people, to connect the dots with what complex simplicity is all about, right? And I'm just trying to continue to grow and meet more goals and gain more awareness, because I feel like this movement is positive and it is helpful to others out there and can be helpful to more people out there. And I want to be able to eventually, either have a bomb podcast or even be a part of a talk show panel, you never know. So I just keep grinding and working. And even if those opportunities don't come knocking on my door, guess what? Your girl be ready to create one for herself. Issa Rae it, that's what I like to call it. You get your Issa Rae on, where you create opportunities for yourself. Sometimes that's what it's about out here, y'all. When he builds it, they will come. When she builds it, they will come. We don't always have to wait for them to knock down our doors. Let's start creating our own opportunities out here. With social media and the internet, it's almost as if you don't always need people to knock down your door. Now, of course, when it comes to bucks and money and investors and things of that nature, I get it. But at least to get the what am I looking for? Foundation started, we don't necessarily need someone to take us by our hands and say, hey, come do this. I think you should do this. A lot of times they won't knock down your door until you damn near have built everything from the ground up. That's when the entertainment world wants to be like, hey, we've been watching you for some time. We see what you're doing. We like what you're doing. And we want to invest in you. Because that's all the hard work has already been done, right? And, so please be encouraged. Let's not always wait for people to knock down our doors with opportunities. It's okay to create your own. If you believe in yourself enough and what you're doing, what your message is, you're clear on what your message is, who your audience is, and what makes you you and you different from everyone else who may be in a similar field as you. I think that could get you far, and there's a lot to be said about that. And so let's not always feel like we have to do it the conventional way. I respect Cardi B's response in that interview on the red carpet, where she said, you have to figure it out. Figure it out. We think that it's like chemistry and rocket science, but I don't really think it is. I don't think that the Kardashian-Jenner clan made and built this huge empire off of a rocket science blueprint. A lot of times it's right in front of our face and we don't even realize it. So let's just start really, figuring this ish out, and let's figure it out together, y'all. So that's my thoughts on the 2018 Grammys. I hope that you have a great week. We got the Super Bowl coming up. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a Patriots fan. And so I'm looking forward to kind of kicking back with some of our peoples, because we will be hosting a little something. And, have a safe and happy and healthy week, and continue to rock out with your girl by going to complexsimplicity.com. And until next time.